Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. This is going to be for The Walking Dead, Season 10, Episode 17, Home Sweet Home. And I am back finally here live on a Sunday evening at around 10:30 p.m. to talk about an episode of television. And believe it or not, it's been a long time since I've talked about The Walking Dead. I think the last Walking Dead episode I talked about was episode 11 of Season 10. Season 10's been a little bit more sparse on my coverage because I wasn't feeling Season 9 as much, but taking a little bit of break from the show and coming back at it, I was curious to get into it. And I will say the previous 5 episodes that I missed, it's almost like when you shut off a game and it gets okay when you're watching it. So I didn't mind the end of the Whisperer arc. I'll get into that a little bit at the beginning of what my thoughts on that are. Unfortunately, those of you that watch us more often, my co-host Joe will not be with us this evening, and I found out a little too late in the game to get a replacement co-host this evening, so you're gonna have to deal with just me tonight. But Joe will be back, and Joe is watching, and he can't wait to talk to you guys all and rant and rave about his problems and his joys with this part of the season. Or this section that we just went through with the Whispers, or the end leading into this point. This episode, initially my thoughts, it wasn't the most exciting episode of The Walking Dead, but I did enjoy the kind of containedness that we had within it. I like to see Daryl and Maggie together again and interacting, and Maggie just being back on the show in general. I'm trying something new. If I'm going to be talking about the show, at least here at the beginning, this might be a slow decline over these next 6 weeks talking about this show. But I'm fresh. I'm fresh to talk about The Walking Dead tonight. So I'm coming in here with a positive perspective, and there were things, and talk about a lot of things I definitely enjoyed about this episode, and the direction that hopefully this half a season will go. To something Corey Mitchell was saying in the chat before, I hope we're not just being introduced to another villain of the year. I hope this is sort of a passive distraction while a bigger issue arises. But we'll get into all of that this evening. But I'm not alone. Of course I'm not alone. Look who I have in the side of my corner eye. That's right. The live motherfucking chat. It's so good to have you guys back here. And yes, I am back. Let's go over there. Oh, bam. Here we go. We got Eye Enthroned. We got the chat attack. Nick Diaz in the live motherfucking chat. We got Corey Mitchell. Maggle had the emotional range of a turnip. Okay, and that's the thing here, everybody. If you're coming in here, if you've never watched one of these before, and you just happen to find your way in here after a Walking Dead episode, this isn't necessarily a place where you have to just say great things about The Walking Dead. If you're not feeling this episode, I want to hear it, and I want to talk about it, because A, I don't have Joe here to offer that perspective, so I'm affected by shiny things in front of me, so give me the shit, you know? And I just watched, I'm just saying this because Nick's in the chat, I just watched Tom and Jerry 2, which was a colossal piece of turd, probably one of the biggest colossal piece of turds I've seen in years. So, maybe The Walking Dead looked good in comparison. But please, make sure you share your honest thoughts. You can also call on in at 781-990-8509. Leave a voicemail about your thoughts on The Walking Dead in general this season, going into, they announced, next year. And this might be one of the main reasons why I'm out here right now. They've announced that next season, season 11, is the final season of The Walking Dead. So I wanna watch it. We've come this far. We need to finish this. It needs to conclude. It needs to be over. And Joe and I need to be sitting there surveying everything in front of us. But yes, The Walking Dead, back season 10, and it's coming back for 6 episodes. This is the first of the 6, I believe. And I mean, I know this was the first. It's 5 more after this. Yes, this was the first of the 6. And then it's coming back in season 11, and then that's it. We're getting season 11, and The Walking Dead is done. So I'm curious how they're going to conclude this thing, how they're going to wrap it up. Because that's one of my biggest things with all television shows. How do you conclude it? How do you, and I wouldn't even say so much with The Walking Dead, how do you stick the landing? How are they going to organize, how are they going to Top Gun land this plane? Nick, yeah, Tom and Jerry is so fucking bad. Corey says, I mean, these badass names are getting stupid. What's with the next Super Ninja did? Death Squad? Santivia Major, I missed you as well. I'm going to start getting back into my rhythm on these Sunday evenings, at least for the next 6 weeks here, and try to get back, try to reclaim this spot as some fun. You know, I have a lot of fun on the weekends in babbling and some other places, but I want to make sure I come out here on Sunday nights, and I'll also be on. People want to check it out as well this coming Wednesday with Matt talking some Sopranos. So let's get into this Sopranos. Let's get into this Sopranos episode. Tom and Jerry is the sign of the apocalypse, as Iron Throne. Iron Throne and Chat Attack are gonna become quick friends with comments like that, Iron. But Santivia, great to see you, Atari. Not sure how you messed up Tom and Jerry. You have a cat and a mouse beating the crap out of each other. Maybe I'll do a little review of Tom and Jerry at some point in time, but or talk about it on a roundup show at some point coming up soon. But I'll explain. It's easy. You concentrate on too many human characters. It's like how you ruin an Alien versus Predator kind of thing. You concentrate too much on the humans. But yes, we do need some fucking movie reviews. Fractal Curve, Adrian, it's been a while. So many faces. I know. It's so great to see you guys. Make sure you check me out every Sunday evening here at about 10:15. We will be having some guests joining us. Just me this evening, but we will be having some guests. Of course, the one and only Joe Dirty Locks will be joining me on these live streams talking about The Walking Dead, and he is all caught up, and he's actually the one that got me to start to watch. He's like, are we going to talk about The Walking Dead? I don't really hate it right now. So we'll see about when we get Joe on. Also, The Walking David will be on here as well, and Tony Teflon will be joining us. I'm going to force Tony to watch a couple of Walking Dead episodes and get him on here one week as well. So we got a lot of fun guests coming on this season, but for tonight, you got to deal with my goofiness to talk about this episode. And of course, the live motherfucking chat. Okay, so The Walking Sopranos. This Walking Sopranos episode starts out with Dr. Melfi. And when Dr. Melfi really tried to stab Tony Soprano in the back of the head, he just turned around and he bit her in her ass. No, I'm kidding. Okay, gonna try my best to be involved in one of these shows, man. That is amazing. I fucking love Nick Diaz's Good People in the Chat Attack. If you haven't checked it out already and you enjoy live discussion, ranty, fun stuff, movie reviews, television discussions, random shit, make sure you check out Nick Diaz over there in the Chat Attack. And I know, I almost felt like there's no point of doing these without Joe, but we can feel the spirit of Joe. You guys in the live chat tonight, make sure you guys serve the role as Joe Dirty Locks for me. If you see something or you saw something in tonight's episode that you need to Joe it up here, let me know. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Okay. So what is up? What is going on? And yes, I watched the first episode after. Okay. So we got some comments in the live chat. You guys are going to, oh shit. Don't do this to me now. Wait. There we go. I'm dealing with some, speaking of Tom and Jerry, I just saw a mouse in my house. Scared me worse than a walker. Okay, so we do have a bunch of episodes. Home Sweet Home this week. Find Me next week. One more, which isn't the last one. Splinter. I guess we get an episode about the Ninja Turtles. We've got Diverged, and then the last episode of the season, Here's Negan. Okay, so first off, before I get into this episode, I guess I should talk a little bit about the 5 episodes that I did not talk about. I thought a couple of them were pretty good, and I generally did like the conclusion of the Whisper arc. I thought the visual of all of them being surrounded with the mighty hordes on either side of the building did create some sort of tension. I thought it was generally an interesting conclusion to that story arc, albeit a little over-edited at times, but I generally enjoyed it. And I think at this point on the show, the character of Negan, just from a character standpoint, is definitely, for me, one of the more interesting aspects of the show. I think he's working on there. I think it seems to me, in what I've seen so far, that in recent watches that they're concentrating a little bit more on the characters people give a shit about. So it makes it a little bit more focused. At least that's what I've been seeing in this back half. That seems to be the slight changes from season 7 and season 8's all-time low point of where this show was, from my perspective. So I do think it's at least heading in the right direction for the conclusion, especially if you keep bringing back characters I generally kind of care about instead of characters I could give a shit less about. I don't like how this episode did kind of give us television blue balls a little bit by ending with something that was relatively interesting at the end of episode 16 with the stormtrooper guys showing up with Eugene's little crew and reminding us of that at the beginning of this episode, and then basically giving us an episode that doesn't deal with that at all. That kind of, and I bet, or I have a horrible feeling that we're probably not going to get back to that thing till 3 or 4 episodes down the road. Next week's going to be something else, then probably one more episode, something else, and then we'll get to that. And that's a little, shitty, but whatever. I'll deal with that. Dark Crescent. Negan has the most personality. Negan does have the most personality. He's one of the only people on screen that consistently feels like he's enjoying himself. And I think that is getting somewhat contagious in some moments. I also generally do, sorry guys for the static, I generally do like the child actor that plays Judith. I think she generally works, and it's not always easy to cast a good child actor. And I think her and Negan are probably the most engaging figures on the show in this back half of season 10. So I'm at a relatively decent place with the show going into this episode. I thought when everyone started to show up at the end of the Whispers arc, it felt climactic. It felt good when Maggie shows up and saves the day, although you kind of expected it to happen, with Gabriel kind of being like, oh, I'm sacrificing myself. In that moment, you kind of knew someone had to come out of nowhere and save his ass, and it was Maggie, and I thought it was an all right moment. And I like how right from the beginning of this episode, we get that interaction with Maggie and Negan, and we know that's going to be awkward, and it is awkward. It's fucking awkward. I like it. Tim F. The socially distanced way they filmed this new episode was extremely obvious in each scene. New TV is gonna be weird. Wait, Phil, did you say that they wrapped up the Whispers arc? They did wrap up the Whispers arc in episode 16 with the end of the gigantic horde with getting thrown in the pit and Alpha Beta there and Opie getting killed. My biggest issue with Judith is how she takes out zombies. Yes, there's a believable way for a kid to kill zombies. The way she does it ain't it, says Atari Dad. See, that's what I mean. That's what Atari Dad, good example of being the Joe in the chat. Thank you, Atari Dad. This episode, Corey Mitchell says, this episode of The Walking Dead brought to you by Ambien. For those sleepy evenings, turn on this episode of The Walking Dead. So Corey Mitchell, fair. There was a lot of talking and pontification in this episode, and this generation of The Walking Dead in general absolutely is mainly serviced by pontification mixed with somewhat hit or miss action scenes. And for me in this episode particularly, I'll be the apologist tonight to a certain extent. In the action scenes created enough tension for me in some of the character moments. Some of them created a few emotional moments for me. Maybe because of the mindset of where I was while watching the episode, but either way, I felt a couple of feels in the episode, as cheesy and ridiculous as that sounds. So it's a decent step in the right direction compared to my memory the last time I was watching this, but I can't deny what you're saying, Corey, and I enjoy reading it every step of the way, so keep it fucking coming. Negan's character improved tenfold when he took it down a notch. And what's interesting about that is Jeffrey D. Morgan needed to take it down a notch. Sometimes you feel like other actors on the show maybe could bring up the emotion a little bit. But Negan definitely, I think Jeffrey D. Morgan is in a very sweet spot playing that Negan character. Even in that moment with the beginning of this episode, as we get into this episode, Maggie in his moment, he can't help but smirk. And I don't know if anyone can relate to that. I can relate to that. Even if I know I'm wrong, I'm in a fucked up position, or it's a difficult moment and I'm apologizing for something I know I did. I haven't ever bashed anyone's husband to death with a baseball bat. That's not on my list of things I've done, but I've done some shitty things in my life. When I'm in that moment and I'm kind of apologizing, like, sorry guys, I haven't been on Sunday nights for a long fucking time. I suck. Blah, blah, blah. You suck. And I hear that voice in my head, that deep, horrible, yes, Phil isn't. No more Phil, only Zool. That voice in my head. I can't worry about it. I just can't worry about it. But he needs to take it down a little bit. And he did. Santivia says, I can't with the pontificating. I fully understand. Absolutely understand that. Judith using Rick's hand cannon is way unbelievable. She'd be blasted off her ass, says Tim F. Oh my god. Here's oh my goodness, great stuff. She took classes from Arya's School of Assassins. This I just want to say the ambient thing. And the whole chat is Joe Dirty Locks for us tonight. Yeah. I love it. Okay, so yeah, the Daryl and Maggie scenes I thought had some weight to them. But I guess my point with the Negan thing was I've done some fucked up things in my life, and when I'm in those situations, sometimes I can't help but give this like, I'm sorry. With this smug douche, I'm calling myself a douchebag in this situation. But you're not trying to be, you're trying to be affable and like break down the moment. I'll say, I know I'm a dick. But no, in that moment, you're just being a dick. I love how he kind of smiles at Maggie. So, hi, Maggie. If you thought I escaped, it's not like that. Like he's trying to make a joke. Remember that time that your husband ran into my baseball bat several times? Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Can we laugh about that someday, please? I don't know what kind of fucking accent I'm giving Negan here, but hey everybody, this is Negan. I guess that's my Negan voice. I'll work on it. It's been a while. Hey Maggie. Fuck you, asshole. I'm sorry, Maggie. Can we start over? You fucking killed my husband. But in fairness, that's one of the things I generally did like about this episode, and I know Laurie Cohan's levels. Oh my goodness, I keep dropping this thing and it is not fucking good. I'm working on a very sensitive issue here with this little fucking tape recorder thing. I keep fucking knocking it over like a fucking idiot. But you're dealing with with Lauren Cohan. I don't think she has, at least not in the part of Maggie right now, she's not finding a lot of up and down levels. She's playing it all at sort of one emotion. But how the character is written in the scene that's actually designed the way it's designed. I appreciate how they're writing Maggie in this moment throughout the whole arc of the episode. And we'll go through it in the recap. But I do enjoy that she ultimately gets to a point where she has to fucking deal with it. And she's going to deal with it. You know, she shouldn't over dramatize it to a point at the end where, yep, you know what? I'm coming back to town and I'm killing Negan. There's nothing you can do about it. If I have to deal with Negan, I'll deal with him. And I generally like that was the point to which we got with Maggie in the episode. And I like that does show some character growth from where we've seen her before, or a complete misunderstanding of her character through the writer's perspective. But either way, it is some change. It's some change from a static decision that could just be like, I'm going down to kill him, and it's the trial at Negan. And maybe it's leading to that at some point, but for now, I didn't hate the way Maggie reacted to everything in the episode. It made sense, but she didn't kind of pull she didn't pull a fit. She didn't pull like man, you guys got to kill him now. She was like, understand. She thanked Carol for telling her. And then when Daryl was talking to her, so even if she is planning to do something on her own when she gets back and kill Negan on her own, she did the right thing. You know, it reminds me of if you're on Survivor and you're voting someone off the island, you don't tell them you're voting them off the island, because then they cause a whole bunch of bullshit. There was someone a couple of seasons ago, they told they were voting off the island, and the person goes around dumping the rice. Why the fuck am I talking about Survivor? Because you don't tell people when you're going to vote them off the island. So if Maggie's really going to kill Negan, she did a good job keeping it close to the vest, and I enjoyed that. Still amuses me that the guy who plays Tobin was both in The Walking Dead and Attack the Titan dub. Santivia, so many grown adults can't, including me. I cringe whenever there's a red shirt on. He's both Daryl is in a bad place. He doesn't really have a leader to play off of. Daryl is a lot better as a wildcat card rather than the leader. And that's the problem with Daryl, is they set up for many, many seasons that he's one of the worst ones when they're pontificating with him, because it doesn't sound natural, because it's not natural to his character, because they're giving him a lot of lines and monologues and interactions that probably would have been Rick in a different situation, because he's the defuncto kind of leader of the group in some ways. So they go off of him to talk to him. Whereas I agree, I think Daryl is the best when he doesn't have to say three things all season. And I thought actually a few moments in this episode were good Daryl. There was one, like when he grabs Maggie's friend and he has the knife to her throat, and Maggie's like, she's with us, and he just lets go of her. He goes, sorry, and just turns away. That should have been the one Daryl line of the night. He could be in the episode the whole time, but the one line he has is sorry. When he like pushes the girl, like lets go of the girl. I think that's when he's the most effective, and he's a really fun character in that way. I think when you require, and it's not that Norman Reedus can't do it. And that's my issue, isn't with the actor. It's with how they set up and wrote the character up until the point where they needed him to do more. And then it's like, okay, we need another actor to step up here, so let's give more lines to Norman. And that's what it seems like to me so I enjoy Daryl as a character. I always have since the beginning of the show, and I continue to do. I think Norman Reedus plays the fuck out of the character. But I do think he's a lot out of character since Rick is gone. And it's not so much the character within the show making the decision to be more. It's just that they're requiring it. It reminds me of 90210 when Dylan left and they had to give Brandon some of Dylan's shit. Or when Brandon left and they brought Dylan back and they had to give Dylan some of Brandon's shit. And it didn't make sense because there's Dylan stories and there's Brandon stories, and they shouldn't fucking mix. And yeah, so there it is. There it is. I am the Maggie Bot 9000. I'm hanging out with my friend Bran 3000. Hey, Jake Cruz, great to see you, buddy. Wasn't the actor that played Elijah, masked Black Assassin, also the kid that played Dwayne Morgan's son in season 1? I do not know, Tim F. Someone will have to double check about that. He's worse at what he does best for this gift. Hideo Kojomi thought that Norman Reedus was charismatic enough to deliver a sim on his own. Bad call. It's the character. To have Daryl giving pep talks and consoling people is weird. Daryl should mainly grunt. Corey Mitchell said it more perfect than I could. And I think I've seen Norman Reedus in good stuff, and I think he's good at portraying the character of Daryl when the character of Daryl was written correctly. But right now it's not written as correctly as it could. And thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. You guys in the live motherfucking chat are amazing. Centivia Artari, Dad, Corey Mitchell, Tim F., Jake Cruz, and all the rest that are popping in and out tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It's a lot of fun to get to talk to you guys again on a Sunday evening. I missed it. So one thing I did like about this episode that I've complained about in the past, and I will actually say I enjoyed it. Some of it reminded me of different shows, but it goes minor when I start to try to say good things about this, or I'm being nitpicky when I say bad things about it, but I do mention it a lot sometimes, is the music in the show. I enjoyed most of the music except for that last song. I don't want to hear any songs with the lyrics unless it's Burning Down the House or something cheesy. Actually in the show itself. Like if it's soundtrack music, I don't necessarily want to hear, something about a burning flame. Because, it was almost like the end of this episode with the music montage. It wasn't even a montage, but the music of them walking into town was very Sons of Anarchy. There was another song in this episode when they were walking through the woods, or just where Maggie was walking through the town, or I forget what it was. It sounded so much like Westworld music. But in general, I did, even with that, those are general compliments, actually. But I like the music in this episode. I thought it fit well. Sometimes it feels like things clash with it, but I feel like in this particular episode, I noted several times in the notes that, I'm enjoying this music. This music's pretty good. And that was something I remember specifically hating in season 7 and 8 for some reason. I felt like it was always trying to be this like sad, feel the emotions kind of music, and in this one we actually had some and then some weird sounds that I actually enjoyed that added tension to the scenes, and some songs that balanced out the momentum of what was going on in screen. Dare I say it, the production value of The Walking Dead was actually decent tonight, albeit the episode maybe not being the most exciting. There wasn't these moments in previous seasons towards the end of the Gimple regime that I would point out production problems that I would notice. I personally didn't notice as much of that, and I was at least compelled by the universe of which I was in. And like I said, tonight I'm going to be happy Harry hard-on. Is that the correct expression? Come on, everyone, talk hard tonight, everyone. But it's amazing that movie Pump Up the Volume couldn't even exist in the modern world. He would just have a podcast and no one would give a shit. You know, what was that whole movie? He had like a shortwave radio station basically right in town, and the FCC got involved. Everyone got pissed off. Christian Slater went to jail. Talk hard, everybody. You know, right now you'd just be some asshole like me on the internet, lost in a sea of assholes talking on the internet. No one gives a shit about Happy Harry hard-on. Yeah, sorry. I want to talk about I want to talk about that. I like that bluegrass song that played in season 4 when Daryl and Beth burned down the house. I like that song as well. And I think usually when they use songs with words to associate moments in The Walking Dead, it's not often, but something about the song when they came back, and then they come down and the candle burns and the burn in my burning butt, burn butt, my butt burns, baby, the butt burns, baby, Maggie is back in town, boys. You know, it was a little too that when she was like walking into town. I thought Gemma was gonna show up, and you know, and Jax was gonna roll around town like I don't know. It was one of those kind of moments for me. But again, I think I like this episode more than I should. That's why I wish I had Joe here. But thank goodness I have the live motherfucking chat to keep me honest. It's always good to see you, my old and young and amazing friends. If Daryl has more lines than Eugene, it doesn't work. Perfectly said, Len. Well said, my friend. Oh my goodness. I like that. Can we all just agree that Daryl is the group kind of ruined Alexandria? It was nice when they came there. That's why they can't have nice things. Yes, Santivia, pump up the volume. Part of that Christian Slater era when he was the coolest guy in the world for me. That, Heathers, and I guess it was just those two. I mean, he did some great things after, but those two movies. Okay, so let's not... I miss the indie songs of season 2, especially the folk songs showing the zombies roaming the countryside. Ahmed, great to see Ahmed in the live chat. Great to see all of you guys. And as I mentioned, Fandom D Saint in the live chat. Great to see you. I saw Fandom poking in on the After Dark last night as well. Great to see David in the chat. I can't believe I just called you David. I feel like I broke a confidence. I feel like I was too personal, Fandom. I feel like I crossed a line. Oh my goodness. And here we go. Let's see. And by the way, if anyone wants to, I do have a voicemail line, 781-990-8509. You can also text that phone number if you leave something in the live chat that I miss and you want to get it. Make sure you get it in there. Make sure you get it in there good. I will be watching. So you can text me at 781-990-8509. And also you can do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you happen to be watching this or listening to this at a later date and you have some thought about The Walking Dead, or you don't like the way I sound or the way my face looks, or you want to burn my hair, like whatever you want to do, you just leave me a message on the voicemail line and we'll review it and play it. But we've waited enough time. I've waited enough time. It's been a long time, but let's do this thing. Recap. Let's get into the recap of this episode. I miss Joe too. He will be back with us one of these weeks. He was sickly disappointed that he could not join us this evening. He very much tried to I'm out of breath. It's been a long time since I did a recap. He really tried to get the night off of work. He kept bugging people. He could not do it, but he will be joining us. And if he, for any reason, cannot join us on a regular basis here, I will do some What Did Joe Thinks in the middle of the week to get his thoughts on the episodes. I'm hoping he's back for a lot of episodes this particular season. As I've mentioned, I like doing these Walking Dead podcasts with, it's a pleasure to be able to have some guests, and especially The Walking David, and it's always great to get to talk to Tony and any other guests that we've been lucky enough to have talk about The Walking Dead with me. But really, no one even wants to hear what I have to say. I don't want to hear what I have to say. Really, when we've been doing this for a bunch of years, the only person's opinion that actually matters about The Walking Dead is Joe, because we definitely always know that, as I'm stalling for time to be able to get something, we all know that Joe is always right. That's true. Joe is always right. We can't forget that, and I can't forget that I have Joe Jiminy Cricket on the side of my ear every day, just making sure that he tells us. Oh God! See, when Joe isn't here, I'm just gonna play with horrible pictures of him on the screen to make him feel uncomfortable. And if worse comes to worse, I'll just get some pre-recorded Joe clips I can just play that says this is a piece of shit. It's a shitload of fuck, and we'll simulate some Joe. Yeah, knife to the back of the head, Centivia. What story did this episode tell? Okay, the story that this episode told essentially was welcome Maggie back to the team, and where's Maggie been, and a story of a simple story. Sit back on my lap, Corey Mitchell. This is a simple story about a travel mission. Maggie had to get her people. We had to introduce 2 new characters. A ninja and a pissed off guy that makes a lot of wise ass comments and probably has a crush on Maggie. Cole. Was that his name? Cole? Yes, Cole. But we also had to learn about a potential new threat with the what are they called? I have it written down somewhere, but I'm blanking the name of the group. The name of the group that we got referenced today, which I do think is probably going to be more of a Wolves or the Mayor Joe Hales guys there, the Claimers, rather than a major group that's a major factor. I think whatever that particular group is, it's going to be just dealt with quickly. Corey says, maybe it's just me, but I feel totally disconnected from the series. And Santivia says, it's not just you. I'm trying hard tonight, when it comes down to it. If I'm going to be at least talking about this episode, this series for 6 weeks here, and getting myself excited to come out here for 6 weeks in a row to talk about it, I think it's funnier if I start out being way interested in this thing, and by episode 6 I'm losing my mind, rather than coming out here in episode 1 and be like, fuck it, oh God. So I'm building an arc here, Corey Mitchell. So no, you're not alone, and keep the honesty going, and honestly the other side of it too. If you're feeling this episode and you're feeling The Walking Dead in this particular stretch, do it. That's what I hope here in these live motherfucking chats is people are honest, can be honest about their opinions, that we're not in a echo chamber of positivity or negativity about the show. And because it's easy to get into a habit of either of them. But feeling disconnected from The Walking Dead after what they've put people through in the last couple of seasons is completely justifiable. And it's why the show is canceling itself earlier than it probably wanted to at the end of season 11, because it alienated so many of its fans. And that's irrelevant whether it gets to be good storytelling or not later. A show like 24 or Law or Heroes, for instance, disappointed fans so much at a certain point in time, it was impossible to get the fans back, even if the show's improved at later points in time. The 24 is a good example. I think season 1 was good if you like the show, and season 2 a lot of people dropped off, and then it got really bad, but then got good again in like season 6 I think it was, but no one was watching, so it didn't really fucking matter. Heroes was horrible in season 2 and most of season 3, and then I would argue season 4 was okay, but no one was watching it because no one gave a shit. And yes, part of the problem probably has to do with Kirkman abruptly ending the comic. Probably as well. Fandom says, I think CW has numbed my mind because I've been enjoying the season. I will spoil alert Joe. I said this earlier. Mr. Joe Dirty Locks said to me, yes, Joe's ranting right here, Joe is feeling this half of the season as well. He said, kill me, I'm enjoying The Walking Dead right now. And you need to watch it. You need to catch up, is what he said, basically. It was his request to make sure we got out here and talked about these episodes because he's actually feeling the show. So I can't wait to get him out here and hear his opinions of it. So I'm trying to get on board with him. Look, listen to me listen to me put Joe under the bus right here when he's not here. Yeah, goddamn, Joe. You don't come on the show, Joe. This is what happens. Ha! Okay. Flying solo tonight, KCA, but I will be back with Joe very soon and also some other guests, but solo tonight. I thought seasons 9 and 10 were great, especially after the crap seasons of 7 and 8. I think 7 and 8 for me were the worst of it. I think season 9 had some okay moments, and I think parts of season 10 have been generally all right. Still not back to greatness, but or really goodness, but I think there's moments that have entertained me in these back half seasons. I like the whole Negan, and this is, again, before we're getting into this episode particularly deep into it, but I like the Negan and Carol thing with the death of Alpha. I thought that was handled pretty cool. Like when they come back, they slap 5, where you been? I thought that was a cool reveal. I think they're getting back into at least creating some sort of sense of fear in some of the scenes. So, again, step in the right direction. Centivia, KC, Corey. This episode wasn't good or bad. It was like The Walking Dead's Grey's Anatomy. I knew the red shirts were going to die. Marilyn Daryl. This is my brother Larry. This is my brother Daryl. This is my other brother Daryl. Yeah, I know. Unbelievable. Well, watch Joe say, I didn't say like. I not like. I'm okay. We'll see what happens when Joe comes out here after a couple of drinks and babbles a little bit about these episodes. We'll see how he really feels. Maybe he might be full of shit. I'm still I'll call bullshit till I see him out here talking good talk over here. Okay, this is what I need to get up. Yeah. Not quite yet, but I needed that. I needed that on point and ready. I need to be ready for everything here. So, let's freeze for the station identification. This podcast is brought to you by Metamucil. But so here we go. Let's get into this. The episode starts out with Lydia with Lydia giving us a recap of what's happened all season, and Lydia's doing a better job getting us a recap of the Whisper season. I think Lydia's going after my job. She's kicking ass on the recap here. I don't know. I think we should trade. I think I should be on The Walking Dead, and I think Lydia should come out here and do these fucking recaps because she seems to be okay. She's all succinct, doing it in 30 seconds, a whole freaking season. Takes me an hour and a half to do a whole episode. Fucking showing off before the episode. Hi. Negan needs to get his groove back. I want him to be 100% nasty. I think we might see that by the end of the season. I do think we're going to see some conflicted Negan stuff. I'm excited Jeffrey D. Morgan is on this show. I didn't love his casting as Negan in 1. He was in the big prime Negan moments. I didn't enjoy him, but the way he's playing the character right now shows a lot of, pathos. I'm emotional. No, he just has a lot of credibility and a lot of subtlety and humor and joy of which he's playing the character, even in his varied of emotions that he's playing. So I definitely fucking love Negan. He's easily my favorite character on the show over the last 2 seasons. And yeah, and he keeps getting better. And I foresee some really good things with him this season, with Maggie and with the kid and with little Herschel and yeah, and with possibly with Rick when he comes back. So I do think there's some good stuff to be done with Negan down the road. And I think if there's going to be amazing moments on this show, it's going to be with Jeffrey D. Morgan's character. At least that's my perspective. Red fucking Walrus. Great to see everyone. Oh, I love it. I love being on here on a Sunday evening, getting to see so many familiar faces so we can start reclaiming our fun, silly Sunday evenings. It's good to be back into my rhythm out here. You know, they hired Jeffrey D. Morgan's wife as Lucille in order to have him come back for more episodes. I did not know that, Ahmed. And that's going to be interesting when we say she should be back in the Here's Here, dude, I'm from Boston. Here's fucking Negan, dude. And here's Negan.
Yes, you are correct, sir. Yes.
Wow, that's weird and wacky stuff. Season 9 is when they kill Tara. Definitely an improvement over 7 and 8. Santivia. As long as they kill Tara, it's a fucking improvement. I love you, Santivia. Hope you're feeling better. And sending Santivia some love. And, oh shit, I gotta take my Metamucil. Thanks for reminding me, Phil. That's okay. You can thank Metamucil for sponsoring this podcast. It's, I gotta put on that paid, you're watching a paid promotion YouTube video. And if you haven't and you're watching this, anybody that's watching this live, make sure you hit that like button. It helps us reach more people and share the discussion, share the channel to help me flip up in the right direction now and start gaining some subscribers and viewers. And if you know anyone that might enjoy our goofiness, please do. I'm going to be I have been in more of a rhythm, and now with The Walking Dead, we'll be on every Sunday night. As long as I can have access to AMC, which I do right now temporarily using a friend of mine's Philo, whatever it is. So after that, my goal is to sign up for a free trial myself after the Friends thing runs out. So then hopefully I will get enough time to get the whole season to be able to watch the whole season live. If anything happens in worst case scenario and I'm not able to watch the episode live on a Sunday evening, I will definitely be doing the podcast on a Monday afternoon or a Monday evening. So one way or another, we'll be talking, as in all the voices in my head.
Yes, Phil, that's it.
Me and Joe and other folk we'll be talking about every episode of this half a season and this end half of season, and hopefully pretty much every episode of next year. And I saw Corey Mitchell say, I can't wait for Better Call Saul. Me either. You say either, I say other. Me either. And I don't think we're going to see that till early 2022, but I'd rather it take longer and be amazing, or stick with the same level of quality, which is be amazing, than come out too soon and push the editing process, because that show, editing is so much a part of the magic and what Vince Peter and his team do. So here we go. Let's continue here. If Rick comes back, it won't be in the main show, I think. I do think, so you think Rick's going to come back in Fear. I wonder when we're going to get that Rick Grimes movie, and I also wonder when and how Rick does come back. I tend to believe he's going to come back through the Stormtrooper people, and maybe that's where he is, but we shall see where and when Mr. Rick Grimes comes back. It's going to be interesting to at least see how this show chooses to end and conclude it. It is Dr. Claw.
Gadget. Listen, Gadget, I'm going to fuck you up.
Oh my goodness. Excuse me. I will say this, The Walking Dead is a great name for this show, considering it has no soul now. Says Corey. Corey, as always, is in the zone. Atari, if Rick comes back, he's not going to be on the main show. As you know, they hired Jeff D. Morgan's wife, as we mentioned earlier. So we start with Lydia giving us a recap. We open up on Judith and Maggie talking, and it's fun talking stuff. Fun talking stuff. Fun talking stuff. Come on. Fuckers. Why is nothing working tonight? Nothing's working the way I want it. Excuse me for 1 second, folks. Oh, that's why. Let's try that. Let's try that again, Phil. Oh my goodness. I am off tonight. There we go. We have audio. Yay.
I could have gotten that walker.
No, you couldn't
Your
have.
mother's daughter.
My dad's too.
What'd you tell RJ?
Well, I took him to the roof. The sky was filled with stars, and I told him right now, Mom's looking at the very same stars.
Did he turn to you and say, "That's fucking bullshit, kid"? So we see Maggie and Judith do their thing. All that hype, all that me fucking around and being like, "Oh God, something's not working. My equipment's not working." Just to play that little stupid sound cue. Wouldn't it be great if I didn't have any other sound cues all night and I was just freaking out just to play that? I gotta play that one little sound cue of Judith talking, and without it, my whole show is shit. Oh my goodness. I love you guys in the chat. You guys are fucking amazing. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we see Maggie and Judith talking, then we bump into Negan, and it's all sorts of awkward. I love awkwardness. It makes me happy, and this is definitely very awkward. Play, damn you. Nothing's playing the way I want it to play tonight. Yeah, no, we have some fucked up shit going on here. Play, damn you. Okay, I guess I guess this isn't gonna work for me tonight. I swear, I spent like a whole bunch of time recording this stuff. Hi, Maggie. Yeah, that was worth it. Okay, let's say fuck the audio clips for now. Okay, so then we bump into Negan. He's like, "Hey, Maggie, yeah, I did not escape." In case you're wondering. And then she heads off pissed off, and we get a decent camera shot with her walking away towards the camera. Then we get some reunions. We get Carol and Daryl talking. We get Maggie. We meet the two new people, which is Elijah and Cole. Elijah's the ninja, and Cole is the pissed off dude that talks all the shit. And they want to hear about Negan. What's up with that? What's up with Negan being alive? The episode was slower than Danny Glover running from the Predator. Fighting Cobra and Destro. Jason Voorhees. I saw that you had one of your bear traps from Friday the 13th video game catching someone tonight. We got Jason Voorhees. You better watch out. Kill. He knows it. He knows how to stalk someone in the woods. He's embarrassed by all these other zombies. So they go and look at the place, and they want to talk about what happened with Negan. They saw the place that the Whispers burned, and Carol and Maggie talk. And then we have Carol basically explain that she was the one that let out Negan, and he was the only one that could possibly kill Alpha, and she's sorry. And then the Cole, the wise ass guy, gets down to the brass tacks of the point here, and is like, "Listen, let's explain this shit to me. I want to know what's going on."
Well, everyone's just supposed to go to, what was it?
Alexandria.
Right. So we all go to Alexandria and live next door to the guy who torched this place. Same guy who killed her husband. Is that right?
We're still figuring things out.
That's another one-off line that works for Daryl. Him saying something like, "We're just figuring things out." I think it's funny and works for his character. It's not him going into these big, deep dialogue things and telling people to keep believing in stuff. No, it's Daryl's going to grunt, make uncomfortable, awkward, single comments that are going to be funny in the moment, and that's what works for his character. For me, that's what works for his character. I'm not going to tell... Oh my God. I'm not going to say that there's nothing else he possibly could do, but for me, that's what he does best. So, okay, so Negan is burned, and then what do? Then Carol and Daryl have a moment where it's good to see each other. Maggie is going to watch over the situation. Carol says Daryl's going to watch Maggie and make sure that everything stays copacetic. And Carol basically says that, yeah, she's never going to get over this. And Daryl and her have a moment where they have the same conversation that they've had 17,336 times. I miss you. I like you. I need you. I'm there for you. And I'm not all right. And I'm not all right too. So let's keep moving on. So then they're still looking. Oh, that girl's sister, I'm blanking on the girl's name. She comes over and she talks to, and her sister we see at the end of the last episode get picked up by that guy on the horse. And she wants to come with them to find Maggie's people and uses an opportunity to look for her sister. Daryl says, come on, let's go. This is where we get some cool, almost Westworld music. Let's see if I have it here. Let's see if I can play some of it. I should be able to play some of it. I wanted to play some of it. No, I guess I don't. So we also see a grasshopper in the woods too. Maggie is pushing them. Cole demands they stop. He's like, that's enough. Listen, this is enough.
How's these?
Too far out of the way.
We might not hit anything else before dark.
Let's keep going.
And you can kind of hear the music I was talking about in the background there. So, to me, it sounds very Westworldy as they're walking through there. So then we also continue with maybe we should stop.
And it's getting dark. We shouldn't be.
David, great to see you, buddy. We'll definitely, I mentioned earlier, David will be joining us at some point this season or on an off day of the week to talk about some of his thoughts of the season. Maybe we'll wait for a couple of episodes to happen to get some of the longer thoughts, but good to see you, David. You're very missed and very loved out there. So Maggie wants shelter, so they're going to clear the area. And her buddy goes, Cole's like, no problem, no sweat, easy peasy, we'll clear this area. And they go and clear. We get a nice little action scene with Maggie's guys who can fight. And I don't know if it was me or you guys feel the same way. I generally like, and I know Corey made some jokes, but I generally like Cole and Ninja Boy better than Manga, whatever, like that whole crew that we met last season. I find that group was a little too, I don't know. I never dug them. And I also forgot to mention that I really enjoyed the character of Princess. But the reason why I keep bringing up Survivor is she's a lot like a character in Survivor, Sandra the Queen. Anyways, so I do like a couple of the moments, a couple of the casting. Hayful just popping up to say hi and ask you if you still intend on doing the Sopranos live stream on Wednesday. Absolutely, Oakley. Matt and I were just talking about that earlier today. About 6 o'clock. Or do we do it like 6:15, 6:30? And yet, season 3 episode, whatever the next one is. It's a tough one. It's a tough Sopranos episode. But yes, we will be on this Wednesday to talk the Sopranos. Absolutely. So at this point, I do not know half the characters' names. I have no idea why snipers are shooting at them. I've watched more exciting PBS documentaries. Jason Voorhees says, Maggie came back, walking back into The Walking Dead, like she just got fired from being a spy and has something to prove. Oh my goodness. Okay, so they come in, they clear, and they go in, and Daryl and Cruz, they kick some ass. We see Maggie going in there. As they said, Maggie comes back to prove something, and she's just going nuts. And they get them all into a back of a pallet truck kind of thing. And Maggie tries to do it herself, and then the whole team comes and pushes it all closed together. And they get it, and Cole makes this joke, well, maybe a little bit of sweat. Awesome, Oakley. Thank you so much for checking on in and dropping the like and saying hi. Very much appreciated and very much needed, especially now more than ever. Your likes and shares and comments on these videos and live streams are more important than ever right now to make sure as many people as that can see the videos and find my channel. So thank you to all of you guys that do it and all of you guys that keep commenting, and that's to every single person in the live chat right now. That's what I'm talking about. That's what or the people that are watching this afterwards, giving the reactions or leaving the comments. Very much appreciated. You guys all make this worth doing this, because this is the highlight of my weekends, getting to chat with you guys. Always is. Okay, so they clear up as we see Maggie clean out. We come back in and we see Maggie clear out her wound, and her and Daryl catch up. He's glad to see her. The letters stopped. He thought she may be dead, but she's not. She just didn't have a chance to see it. This is where we get into a little bit more pontification with the two characters.
Okay. Okay, what? You mean stay here?
We should go up in the woods, find higher ground.
Apparently, Daryl has been talking to Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he knows he needs the higher ground. Did Daryl have a sister? I'm trying to remember what the fuck happened on this show. I'm here to talk to you motherfuckers in the chat. I get whatever. Where's Joe? I would hear him rant about this shitload of fuck. Knife to the back of the head.
Sleep better in some shelter.
All right.
Finally, I think I have the audio all set.
All we have to do is clear this whole parking lot full of sickos and hold up for the night.
Yeah, easy peasy lemon breezy. Okay, so Maggie starts to explain where she's been and what has happened. Oh my God.
Georgie had all these good ideas with things. Well, at Hilltop, the idea to make others feel good. So we'd find groups and do what we could.
Sorry, everybody. Again, technical fucking difficulties. Fuck it. God, I have to fix this audio situation. I'm sorry. Okay, so Westworld has been growing worse since the greatness of season 1. I just finished season 3 of Yellowstone, and that's a freaking good show. Okay, so Maggie explains where she's been, what's happened. She helped other groups, and stuff kept going wrong is what happened. She said she thought what she was doing in Hilltop worked, so she tried to present it to other groups, and every time she got into other groups, things got mixed up. Excuse me. Maggie explains everything. She went out west. Every place she ran into fell. Her main group got lost for a reason that we don't want to be told about quite yet. She says there's some stuff I just don't want to say. And yeah, I mean, we get into that. They talk about Georgie is Georgie there. Everything's went sideways. Then she talks about her and Herschel took a vacation at one point in time after everything fell. And then they went to this place owned by her grandfather where that her and Glenn were going to retire in, but they didn't because
What happened out there?
because they didn't.
You know, Georgie had all these good ideas with things going so well at Hilltop. The idea of doing that for others felt good. So we'd find groups and do what we could. But it always goes sideways.
She's still out.
I don't know. We were in this little place near Knoxville.
Destro Cobra Commander.
We had this group. We taught them to reroute water, build a forge. And she heard about this city out west, so she and the twins went out there to check it out, and I stayed back with Herschel.
G.I. Joe, a real American hero.
Ran.
Georgie booby dee boo boo. Georgie got pulled in
What
the
happened to your group? Their village.
She says she doesn't want to talk about it. So, Georgie, let's continue on to hear a little bit more. Which is,
I don't know. We were in this little place near Knoxville a couple summers ago. We had this group. We taught them to reroute water, build a forge. And she heard about this city out west, so she and the twins went out there to
There
check
is
it
an
out. I
episode
see
this
if I
season
can-
called Splinter.
And not long after the
Hey,
place
Jay.
fell,
Good to see you,
we
buddy.
ran. And I haven't seen her since.
What happened to your group?
So she doesn't want to tell what happened to the group. And she says that's for another time. And this is where she talks about the detour.
My nana had this place by the ocean.
You wanted to know what this episode was about?
After Bethy died,
This was the fucking episode was about.
Glenn and I talked about going there. Not forever, just for a little while. We never did.
Georgie, why you going down the sewers? Get the balloon, Georgie. They all float,
But I thought Herschel could.
They all float, Georgie. Come on,
He loved it. Waves twice his size knocking him to the ground.
It's so beautiful.
I woke up laughing.
It was like a dream. And
watched
then there was a
the
big
sunrise.
fish that opens its mouth
Water crashing against the rocks.
and licked me in inappropriate spots between my toes. It was beautiful.
Peaceful.
I tried a movie career. I tried another show.
Hardly any
And they
walkers.
both failed. And I had to come running back to The Walking Dead.
One night we stayed
No
up
one else would have me.
late and told him stories. about
Everything I
Beth
tried to do failed. And now I have to really care about this character again, and I just can't find it.
Daddy.
So I'm trying to say this with emotion, but really, I sound like I just took some ludes.
He asked how his daddy died.
And he got killed by a
I
big
knew he
man.
would. I knew it was coming. I told him that a bad man killed him. He wanted to know if that man got what he deserved. He wanted to know if that man was dead.
Yeah, he definitely got what he's deserved. He had a fucking hookup with Alpha. No, I'm sorry. That was gross.
Truth is, I left home because I couldn't.
They probably all smell bad at this point, in fairness. Like Daryl is blending in, you know, it's when it comes down to it at this point, Daryl's probably not the most disgusting smelling person. He probably has a fair, fun odor. Maggie tried to swing for the fences with his heartstrings, but just like Glenn's head, it kind of fell flat, says Jason. Oh my goodness. I love it, Jason. Was really disappointed with the ending of It Chapter 2. They should have just gone full on Lovecraft horror like in the book. So her grandpa had a place in Virginia instead of Georgia. She never told the group. Nice, Maggie. And what's funny about that, Santivia, I was just going to get into that. It's a nice place where there was very few walkers, and at times where the group had no place to go when it was a small scale down group, they probably could have just gone there and protected it forever. But no, she didn't mention it to anybody. Her and Glenn kept that little secret to themselves after Beth died, because once they knew they could keep everyone else out of there, Beth would have told everybody, because Beth had a big fucking mouth. She actually mentioned Beth. Oh, she gave a shit about Beth. Finally. Oh my goodness, we finally get her to care about her goddamn sister. What the flying fuck burger, Maggie. But yes, so Maggie had a place. And yeah, she left it for some reason. So she left, and they took a detour, and yep, that's it.
Realized I didn't want to bring Herschel back to that.
Okay, yeah, she didn't want to bring Herschel back to the energy, the bad mojo of the Negan situation. And Atari Dead says, no, close interviews is the grandmother. But other than that, you're 100% correct. So basically, she wants Negan dead, and we're setting up what's going to be an interesting conflict by the end of the season. So next morning, we got our group ready to go, ready to head off to fight the good fight and continue on their mission. And we see a walker, and oh yeah, Daryl says that it's not decided with Negan. We're hearing it on the background. So we see a walker, and the ninja guy runs off. Ninja Elijah runs off and kills him, and Cole says, yeah, what, your girl was supposed to be on guard duty. I guess she fucked off. And then we get a very quick sort of situation where we see her out looking for her sister and seeing some clues on top of a tank or on top of a truck or something. And she's banging on things, trying to get Walker's attention. And Maggie sneaks up behind and starts yelling into her, you put us all at risk, which is true by leaving your post. And a freaking Walker got in, but whatever. You know, you're looking for your sister. She calms down. She scales back on it. Ninja Elijah ninjas up to the top of the thing and throws down the clues from on top. And we find out in a quick passing bit of information that Elijah lost his sister as well. So now him and that other girl have a bonding moment that they both lost siblings. Hasn't everyone lost a sibling in this world at this point? Just lost a sibling. Okay, so it's special and it's fresh because no one else has fucking lost anybody out in this fucking world. So yes, it's actually an emotional. I mean, it was an actual emotional moment that had me feeling something. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm becoming cynical already. No, I shouldn't be cynical already. I'm not drinking. I'm not getting messed up. This is, let's keep this going. Joe is unfortunately working this evening, Jay, but he will be back with me hopefully next week, or The Walking David will be joining me on some weeks as well. I just found out too late about Joe this evening. And hey, great to see Jay in the chat. Great to see Iron Throne. He don't feel bad, Santovia. Maggie forgot a sister too. I think we might do that, Jason. I think when we get to next season, the actual final season, we're gonna do this like one of those Christmas calendar things where you open it up and each week has a piece of chocolate. We're gonna find some prize to give Joe and I every week next year for the final season. Oh, we saw Dog at the end of last episode. We didn't see Dog tonight, but we did see Dog. The last time I remember seeing Dog is when people were breaking into the place that that Gabriel was hiding, where Maggie ultimately saved them. Dog was there making noise, and Gabriel said, "Judith, get Dog out of here." After that, I don't think we've seen or heard from Dog quite yet. Yes, a Walking Dead advent calendar. I need to make one of those between that's my job. That's my arts and craft assignment between seasons for The Walking Dead. It's going to be Christmas time. Excuse me. We're all going to celebrate that we made it here together. Daryl and Dog just need a mystery van and some weeds. Then we have the spinoff. I mean, that's going to be the spinoff with Carol. They're going to be in a van and she's going to say, is Carol going to be Valma in this situation? Exactly. A Trader Joe Dirty Locks. We'll call it a modified Trader Joe Dirty Locks advent calendar. And we'll sell it. I got to sell it for merch. I need to make it and make it available on the merch store. Okay, so Daryl and Maggie talk about her sister and talk about Herschel and we talk about some stuff.
I don't know. I hope so. Because I went looking for her so many times. Some people are just gone, you know?
But if you find them, doesn't mean you get them back.
Maybe it's better she don't know.
No, she should. And Dad used to say, well, you can't heal till it's there.
This was, of course, it gets...
I always made it sound like it was.
Gets cut off. This is probably one of my favorite quick discussions
We're almost there.
in the scene, because we get a reference towards Herschel. We get a couple of reference towards characters and people that I actually give a shit about. And then we get this quick cut to we see the smoke in the distance. This music kicks in, and we see Maggie running towards the camera with a sort of shaky camera thing that works really well. This is probably one of my favorite little quick sections of the entire episode, just because I just think that they built the tension well in that moment. I wasn't expecting the sort of reveal of something shitty, something bad going on in town, and the sort of transition, it worked for me in that moment. And I didn't hate the scenes the scenes when Maggie and Daryl were having shoot the shit conversations, not the pontificating, where have you been, the emotional bullshit. When they're just shooting the shit about Herschel, telling her some misinformation and her believing it because she's, and dealing with that kind of shit, making a joke about Beth, making a joke about, Carol being a certain way. When we have references like that, I care because I know the characters, the small group of characters that have been around forever on the show that still exist. And because there's been several seasons or several moments that have actually built them up as people I could give a shit about, not just like, here's the new character, care about this person. I actually do know Herschel, or I've, grew to know him to a certain extent. I know Glenn, so when I see little mini Glenn, I get a little bit of feeling. I couldn't help it because it made me think of the show or feel nostalgic towards other aspects of the show. The show's gone on so long that it can start leaning on nostalgia a little bit. It'll be better than trying to keep introducing new characters that I don't necessarily care about. And I think that has been the biggest problem in the back half of the Walking Dead series, is they did a good job from the beginning setting up that core group of characters. Even if the storylines were shit, you cared about generally every character you saw on screen. Even if you didn't like the character. At least I did. I cared about every character because I knew them. I felt like they were generally at least caricatures or at least general representations or reflections of real fucking people. Then after a while, when we started to introduce people, they became more character of the week or person that got introduced really quickly and suddenly we were supposed to care about them. And I know because they were important characters in the comics or in the book situation, like something like some character like Jesus. I never cared about fucking Jesus because I didn't feel like they did a good enough job at introducing and then making me care about him enough for when he died to be like, oh my God, we lost Jesus. Like, okay. Yeah, because I really got to know him well. He seemed like a real multifaceted character. I mean, and they did that a lot. I just pointed out that character, but they've done that a lot with new characters that they've introduced. And yeah. I mean, a few characters I've given a shit about that they've kept on, that they've introduced in more recent times, like a character like Aaron. I think they did a decent enough job introducing him because they sort of started slow, but then they go away from him so much at times and care about and spend time on characters I couldn't give a piss about. Is Maggie back until the show is over? Just for one episode. She's back full time, Jay. So yeah, they talk about the sister and they joke here and there. So we see her head into the burning house and the music is decent. And Maggie is... Some guy starts talking about our new group, the Reapers. So let's hear about the Reapers. Yeah, fucking Reapers. Maggie, she needs to find her son.
What's followed us, Maggie? We're so damn careful, I don't know how, but it's them. They're out here.
We don't know that.
2 of our people are dead, Maggie. Where the hell's everyone else? The fire's out. Why haven't they come back? It's the Reapers.
What's a Reaper?
People who attacked our home.
Came out of nowhere. Wiped out anything in their way. They're
Enough!
We need to get our heads on straight. Find our people. Find my son.
And we can't hear about the Reapers yet because that information needs to come out later at a more opportune time for the story. I mean, really great tease for the Reapers. So Maggie puts her shit together and she needs to find her son. Daryl's tracking them and calms her down. He's going to use his hunter-like skills and Maggie is going to trust him. So we see a walker. Someone gets killed. We see him in some decent Walking Dead camera angles. Daryl loses the tracking and the group split up after some discussion. Maggie and Daryl go one way, the other group go the other way. The masked ninja guy doesn't seem to like that Maggie's going off. Seems like she keeps him in check, or he's very attached to Maggie. So we're with the other three dudes, and they're heading in, being quiet. And we see some stuff moving around. It's like me watching the mouse in my kitchen today, where I'm like, fuck, there's a fucking mouse in my kitchen. Why can't I have a cat right now? But no. And then Ninja Elijah takes the mask off and he's scared. And him and the girl share a moment and they connect. And Maggie's counting on us. And we both lost sisters and we got to keep going. Oh, we have to keep going. Just like I have to keep going with this review. I'm getting close. Then we see something we see a movie, and then we see Daryl sees something. He grabs a girl that's running through the woods, and Maggie says she's with us, and Daryl says, I'm sorry. I mentioned this part earlier. I thought this was one of the funnier moments of the episode. Daryl says, I'm sorry. It was a very Daryl-like moment. The girl explains what's happened. There was a fire. We ran out. People started to kill us. And some dude goes, the goddamn Reapers. And just as he says that, he gets shot with a sniper rifle or some sort of gun with a silencer from behind. Then we see the group running away from the assault, something shooting at them, a decent sense of tension in the scene is being built up. This is decent tension, building up decent music. Jason Voorhees in the live chat traps someone in a bear trap, and we see someone screaming as they get sliced apart. Daryl says it's a trap. They're trying to pick us off one at a time. Girl from earlier is real stupid and running out in the middle of the crew like an idiot, like, hi, everybody, someone shoot me. There's gunfire. Everyone watch out. And she gets shot, but somehow she gives some hand signals to Maggie that Herschel's there. And they know that they need to get through. So Maggie says she's going to flank the guy because they figure out it's only one guy somehow or only one shooter. So Daryl is going to try to initially lure them out. They're going to do a plan, but Maggie's like, no, I'll go and flank him and you just cover me. So Maggie goes to flank him and she finds the gun but no shooter. And then we get a decent action scene here as we see the bad guy, his eye come like Rambo out of the woods where we just see the one single eye. And for the first time he comes out and he's in full like camouflage gear type stuff, wearing body armor it seems, because she stabs him and he just like rips it out. Excuse me. He backs her into a trap and she gets thrown backwards in a trap, hits a tree, but she's all right. She's fucking all right. She's still struggling and fighting. And then Daryl comes in flying out to try to help out the scene, and he just tosses fucking Daryl out of the way, and Daryl hits his head, and we see this interesting camera angle where everything goes whoa with Daryl, and he steps to Maggie, and Maggie calls him over, and he ends up getting shot with some arrows. And she says, don't kill him. We won't learn nothing. And she tries to she tries to learn some information for him. And who sent you? Who are you from? What's the situation here? And he says to her, Pope has he drops his knife and says, Pope has marked you. I don't know what the fuck that means. And he drops a grenade and blows himself up. It's one of those very close proximity grenades that are only going to blow you up and aren't going to hurt anyone even within a small proximity of you. You know those grenades. The ones that only blow up the person holding it. So he blows himself up with the amazing proximity grenade that all other characters are protected by their shields of main characterness. And Maggie is a little confused and worried about her being marked by the Pope. And then we finally get to meet young little Herschel, who's sitting up in a tree and smiles down. And I will admit, even in this moment, the Grinch's heart grew 3 feet there. My heart grew a little bit there, and I got the feelings of like, oh, here we go. Girls running through the woods. I piqued Jason Voorhees' interest. Reapers are bastards who steal the Predator's music. Zombies don't sell at times, so he's assured them that it would be revealed that aliens would be behind the zombies. It's a personalized grenade. Trademark personalized grenades. They sell them in all sorts of bad movies. You can find them in all sorts of bad movie stores. You can find the link to that somewhere in the dark web. It's really easy. I think the main company that makes that stuff is called Acme. They're really easy to find. You just get order forms. The Wile E. Coyote does them all the time. In fairness, he was wearing a bunch of clothing, so it seems that's what it seems. I guess that was it. He had a lot of armor, and he pulled the grenade, and it was buried deep within the big thing that he had, so it all stayed within. But it did seem like they only stepped away for an inch, and he just blew up, all sort of contained within. I'd have to rewatch it, but on my first watch, that's what it looked like to me. It looked kind of fun. Yes, Maggie did have the kid, and we meet him at the end of the episode, and he's wearing Glenn's hat, and like I said, I'll admit, I got a little gooey-eyed in that moment. I was a little, ooh, look at him wearing Glenn's hat. That's cool. I like it. I liked it. It was cheesy, but it worked for me. And then we cut over back into this group in private. Ninja Dude comes in and gives the girl a apple, and Maggie thanks him and asks questions about the sister. And for some reason, I was still a little emotional in this moment. I was getting a little emotional in these scenes, in this end scene. And Daryl and her eventually talk, and Maggie talk about needing to cover the tracks to get back to Alexandria. She'll deal with Negan if she has to, and they got to make sure that they take the long way so no one tracks them and cover their tracks. And then we come back with some music with words. That's what I said. Music with words as the group heads back and they're home, taking their little finger magic train ride right back to Alexandria in the matter of a scene. I guess they took the long way, which was 30 seconds. I know. I know they cut it. I like that they didn't waste time here and they just made them come right back to town. And Maggie walks into town with her kid and the other dude who says, "Is this home sweet home?" And he's, "Yeah, it's home sweet home." They walk on in. Maggie's back. And Negan watches from the behind with a really awkward look in his face. Big series of uncomfortabilities. And that's our episode of The Walking Dead. So yeah, decent episode of The Walking Dead. A little slow at times in the talky sections, but I did enjoy the way the action was filmed. I thought it was at least fun to watch those moments. And there was one or two moments of scenes with Maggie and Daryl I enjoyed, and I remembered a little bit about what I really liked about The Walking Dead at a point in time, caring somewhat about the characters, because it was a scaled-down story about only really a smaller group. It allowed me to maybe dig in a little bit of emotion on, it's good to see Maggie again. Even though she was a little out of practice playing the character, I guess I'll say, and a little off in her performance for me, or maybe I just wasn't used to some of the way she delivers dialogue. But it was good to see her back, and I got wrapped up in the moment to see her back. The highlights of the episode for me were Glenn's kid getting to see Herschel, meeting Herschel at the end there. I thought was a good moment. And some of the dialogue was kind of funny, and I thought some of the action scenes, I thought all the action scenes for the most part worked in this episode. There weren't any big salacious sillinesses that I would look at some of the action scenes in this and be like, yeah, that was fucking horrible. I was entertained by that. There should have been, I wish there was more of that. I've talked about this more. I wish, in my mind, when The Walking Dead sort of hit the change point, I wish it had changed more along the lines of getting sillier rather than trying to take itself more serious. I would have rather The Walking Dead leaned into like almost a variation of a level of goofiness, over the topness, and crazy action, more than I would want them trying to get so as deep as they try to get sometimes. I think they pull off the action better. But yeah, this didn't horrify me. This was fun. It was fun to come out here and talk about this episode and break it down a little bit. And I'm looking forward to coming back next week with Joe. So we take a few more comments and questions and maybe babble a little bit more about some random subjects and then call this a stream. Thank you guys for coming out. But let's see. Personalized grenades made by Acne. Maggie did have the kid. In fairness, he was wearing a lot. If Maggie has or gets a farm, they can play Dylan's Maggie's Farm. Maggie's Farm. Yeah, I can't do it. I'd hurt my voice. I wouldn't be able to talk for a week if I did that Maggie's Farm voice. What? No dubstep. What do you mean Glenn's kid getting to meet Herschel? His name is Herschel. Glenn's kid's name is Herschel. So by by saying meeting Herschel, I mean getting to meet him. I mean more synonymous rather than saying the kid gets to meet his dead grandpa. Could Negan be the Pope? That would be interesting. That could be an interesting aspect if some of these people are like remnants of Negan's crew, but no, I have a feeling it's going to be somebody else. I don't know enough about this point in the Walking Dead story, what they're adapting from the graphic novel on, so it's completely all unique to me. So I have no clue if Pope is an actual person, if he was just saying an expression, or if it's some reference to a character we already know. Fandom D saying, I think Pope is a guy's name. And as I mentioned before, if anyone is watching this at a later time, you can leave a comment or a question at 781-990-8509, and we will talk about it on the next episode. But also leave a text message or a comment on this video. Also, if you haven't already, like the video, share it, do all of that. If you want to join our Patreon, you can find that in the links in the description box below and all the other ways to help the channel. You can also join my Twitch for some video game stuff. If you search Phil the Issues Guy on Twitch, I do mainly Nintendo kind of stuff. If you feel like checking that out, I will be back on Wednesday evening with my good friend Matt to talk about another episode of The Sopranos. We'll be watching it live and talking about it, and then I'll be back again the following weekend to talk about this show. So, is Pope Negan's brother? Only a few episodes in, Jay. I am enjoying it, but I haven't had a chance to like get down and binge it quite yet. But I did enjoy the episodes I watched, and I look forward to watching more of Young Justice. I know it's not made by the same people, but it definitely, you're right, in the sense it has the same quality level as, you know, the Justice League Unlimited and the original Justice League shows. It's definitely a very high quality, and what I've seen, I enjoy a lot. So I will be watching it all, and thank you for keeping on me to watch that. I do appreciate it. They had Jesus before, and now of course they have a Pope. But yes, all those places you can reach us, you can find us, you can touch in and do all of that stuff. Touch me inappropriately. Everyone, it's great to be back on a Sunday night. I look forward to the next 6 weeks, next 5 weeks, getting to talk about this episode. Thank you to all of you guys in the live motherfucking chat. Have a great week. I'll talk to you on Wednesday night. If not before, if some of you guys pop in the Twitch, I might be out on Twitch tomorrow. But yes, next stream, Wednesday night Sopranos with Matt. We'll be watching the episode live, so make sure you queue it up, or you can watch us live, just talk about it. Oh, awesome. It gets better, too. I can't wait. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Ian, you're amazing. Jay, you're incredible. Santivia, can't wait to talk to you soon. Star Trek coming, I promise. I promise, Santivia. I mean it. I do mean it. You guys are amazing. Love all you guys in the chat. Good night, all. Great to see you, Roberto. Oliveira, great to see you. Thank you for popping on in.